of Soul Flow Arts, creator of Transformational Flow Arts program and upcoming book Beauty That Transforms. And I am speaking of Soul Flow Arts and Beauty That Transforms. Behind me you'll see Sunset Beach and just gorgeous waves on the north shore of Oahu, and some surfers just enjoying their flow art of riding these giant waves. We've got Pipeline down here and just had a surf competition just ending a couple hours ago, and I can just hear and feel the force of the waves behind me, and I'm actually really close to the camera right now because it is really loud. And so for the purpose, just a little disclaimer for this particular lesson, I'm going to be going back and forth to demonstrate dancing with simple circles. That is the theme of this lesson. So before I demonstrate with any props, one of what I highly recommend to you that I do is to really get it in the body. So we're talking about the forward or falling current and the reverse current. One of the things being on the north shore of Oahu and just next to the ocean with these waves reminds me of is the fact that everything in life moves in waves, like rhythm is in waves, and emotions go in waves, and this dance really, it's a dance of those cyclic waves of nature. And one of the things in Poi dancing that I've noticed, you know, around the world is that it can get really complex. The level of tricks and the depth of technique that it can go to can get really deep and really tricky. However, what we forget, I think what a lot of people tend to forget, is that we can keep it really simple, and we can do a lot of flow and a lot of dancing with just simple circles. So I'm going to demonstrate really quickly. That's just a little demonstration of just a little simple dance, really, with just some forward circles and circles in reverse. The other thing that I like about these waves and what they might help me to remember, especially when I was first learning, it can be really confusing for the beginner when you're spinning in the forward direction or in the reverse direction to remember which direction you're spinning in. So I like to think of surfing, for example. If I'm on a wave and I am riding the wave and I'm riding in the forward momentum, and let's say I get into a barrel, that barrel, the water is going to be going like this. And hopefully you can hear me, but it's going to be like this. You kind of think forward, F for falling, so the current is in the falling direction. And if I were to 180 my board and now be surfing in reverse, that water would now be barreling and rising up. So that's kind of a little way to remember that. The other thing with creating grace and ease in dancing with simple circles, it's simple, but it's definitely not as easy as perhaps some of us make it look. It actually takes a lot of practice in in back to the structure, right? The structure in service of flow, in practicing keeping your planes parallel to each other. So one of the things that I drilled over and over and over again for a very long time before I could feel fluid in my dance, and I'll just say it real quick and then I'll demonstrate it, is a drill of just taking one poi or one hoop. I'll grab a hoop and demonstrate with the hoop as well, and just taking one up at a time. And I'll do that right now. So my planes, the planes can tend to go like this in the beginning. So a great drill would be inching up my right wall as far as I can go, full extension, and then coming all the way back down. And then going over to the left and inching as far and high as I can go, and then coming back down. So we have the simple circles in the body. We can do it with our props. Talked a little bit about rhythm, and I also just a funny little story. When I went to my first yoga and poi dancing retreat, it was with Play Poi and Nick, and it was out in Indonesia, in Bali, and I was one of 2 Americans at the entire retreat. And one of the things that was said to me by someone, I can't remember, they're like, "Oh, you come from America. Oh, I noticed that, you know, all the American spinners, they like to spin really, really fast." And I was like, isn't that interesting? And I noticed that it's kind of true. I've really noticed that there's a tendency to want to spin really fast, not just in the American culture, but in other cultures as well. So my point is, and my invitation to you is to also bring into your practice just trying out how slow, just seeing how slow you can actually move and spin the poi. And this will give you just a more sensitive and intimate connection with that poi. So the last little bit about dancing with these simple circles is, before you can walk, you have to learn how to crawl. So once you get used to, you know, spinning these simple circles in a standing position, what I highly recommend is beginning to take it for a little walk. Just one step at a time, just a little walk. And from there, finding your favorite music and seeing if you can bring some of that rhythm into the body. And the dance will come. Just let it unfold through you and through the music. And one more little bit on the dancing piece is to explore different levels, to explore low, middle, and high, and just, yeah, as I said, just really allowing yourself to explore your own unique rhythm inside of the simple circle. Aloha again. So I just finished up a lesson on flowing with simple circles, forward and in reverse, the current falling and rising against this gorgeous backdrop of these giant ocean waves and these surfers. And the question that, you know, that comes to me when I'm next to the ocean and when I think of waves and how everything in life moves in waves is, how does one find their center amidst the motion, amidst the chaos, amidst the spinning and the spiraling? You know, is there a method? Is there an access point for you or for anyone? I almost want to grab one of these surfers and bring them in and be like, you know, what do you do to really stay grounded in that motion, finding that stillness? I would imagine breath would be one way, but this is definitely one of the questions that we explore in the Beauty That Transforms curriculum, and I think it's really, really important. In yoga, there is a concept, a term known as vrittis, and the vrittis are the patterns of the thought waves that come and kind of knock us out of our center. And one of the most important skills that any of us can learn in life on a surfboard, in our dance, at work, in relationship, whatever that is to be able to come back to that center and really empower ourselves to be able to choose from a powerful place, not being steered by the emotions, the waves and the emotions, and not being steered by everybody else around us. And so I leave you with this question, and sending you lots of love and a big, big loving namaste. Thank you.